3 mystery box rounds. 2 art teachers, just one chance to create frame-worthy artwork. Who will make their mark? The challenge? Art teachers just like you tackle lesson planning with a mystery box filled with unexpected surprises. Who will stand out? There are 3 rounds: the Bellringer, the art project, and the closure activity. Each lesson component comes with its own box of mystery art supplies. You must use all of the supplies in some way. Also available to you, anything you can locate in your art room or your art closet. You must use every mystery box supply in some way and transform that item.
Here's my current apron. Currently says the most mediocre art teacher. Let's go ahead and upgrade this, the new one.
At the end, you'll reflect and evaluate yourself on your successes, challenges, and creativity. Will your students create frame-worthy artworks? Or will you need to reframe for next time?
Joe and I can have an oil paint face-off.
Yeah.
I'm Jonathan Jervich, and welcome to the Art of Education's Framed, the ultimate art teacher showdown where creativity is key and the transformation of materials is the only way to survive. In today's episode, we have 2 art teachers who are going to explore color. One of the elements of art, it is an essential aspect of our decision-making during the artistic process.
Hi y'all, I'm Joe Boatfield and I'm an elementary art teacher outside of Dallas, Texas. I teach kindergarten through 5th grade and I've been teaching elementary for almost 7 years. And my teaching style is all about having fun. I feel like I'm a super funny teacher. I just love to laugh. I love to see kids laugh. I'm all about the littles and I don't see myself changing grade levels anytime soon. So my competitor is Casey Grant Miller, an art teacher from California who teaches high school. And it looks like she does a fantastic job with sculpture projects. However, if our project has anything to do with fiber, then I am cooked, as the kids would say.
Hi, art teachers. I'm Casey Grant Miller, and I am a middle school and high school art teacher in Santa Barbara, California. Something special about my school is it is 100 years old, and it is a dorm school, so a third of our students live on campus. If one of the boxes has oil paint, I better watch out, because I know Joe is really good at oil painting portraits.
All right, round 1 is our Bellringer activity.
Okay, so here it goes. Let's open box number 1.
Joe and Casey, you have magazines,
What?
colored pencils,
Oh gosh. All right.
scissors,
Glue sticks.
and your wildcard item, rainbow embroidery floss.
My weakness as an art teacher is I don't do a whole lot of fabric or sewing.
And what else do we have in here? It's a flex resource.
We also have this resource.
For elementary, it is the color scheme play resource. And for secondary, it is the emotional color pairing resource.
So lots of possibilities here within box 1. I think we'll be able to come up with something pretty cool.
I'm just so nervous. I just don't very oftentimes do fiber art. As an artist myself, it's not my favorite thing to do, so it's hard for me to be motivated about it. But I'm gonna have to be motivated about it now, so just gonna have to put a smile on and we're gonna have to do it.
All right, let's go.
All right, when the apron's on, you know this means business. So, color scheme play, love this worksheet. I'm gonna have them, of course, use the colored pencil, come up with their own color scheme, and they're going to use pieces of magazines. So they're gonna take maybe one of their color schemes, and they're going to cut up those pieces and use glue sticks to attach them to the cover of their little mini book here. I'll have the pages and the back cover prepped because we have a hole punching machine at my school. I'm gonna have to teach how to tie the embroidery floss in order for the book to open. I'm excited, but I'm worried about the embroidery floss still.
Okay, round 1, what do we need? I think we need magazines. I know we have a ton of those, so let's check it out. Wow. Okay, we have magazines. think we're set for round one. I've been in love with art ever since I picked up a pencil or a paintbrush as a kid. I've pretty much always known that I wanted to do something with visual art. I watched animated movies and I wanted to be able to create the beautiful things that I saw in movies. What makes me stand out from other art teachers is I love to dress up. I will go full costume and then I'll have my students guess what character I have dressed up as for the day. Another thing that makes me different is performing at open mic night and talent shows every year.
I'm noticing that the worksheets are taking a little bit more time than I thought. So some of the students are pairing up with another, and I'm totally down for it. If I had to think back to when I found out that I was in love with the visual arts, I'd have to say it must have happened when I was a baby, because I was just told from my parents that I was constantly drawing. That's all I ever wanted to do. I can't remember a time when I didn't want to just create. Here's some artwork I did when I was in elementary school. My favorite one to share is this one, which I did for a PTA contest, and I titled it, "Wouldn't It Be Strange If a Volcano Erupted in Our Town?" And I tell them all the time, I say, guess what I won for this contest? Nothing. And that's okay. If I had given up, I would have never became the artist I am today or an art teacher. Sometimes you don't win, and that's okay. You still have to be passionate about what you love doing. You can always find me smiling. I'm always joking around with students. I just want to make school fun, and it should be a place where we're smiling. You're just gonna find me laughing a lot with the kids. However, one thing I'm not excited about is teaching how to tie a knot with the embroidery floss. I'm probably gonna have to help a lot of friends. It's gonna be the hardest part.
How often do our students today get a chance to use magazines for art making? I've been trying to provide more and more opportunities for my students, and they love it.
So I think round one is going pretty smoothly so far. We had to switch to different glue sticks because the first ones were a little dry, which happens because the caps don't always get closed. But we pivoted, we got some new glue sticks, and then we were able to start creating, layering, figuring out one or two or a few magazine pictures to focus on top of. I think students really had to focus in, not be too picky, because this is a shorter activity, our Bellringer round one. They got a cool idea and they focused on movement and contour and using string. So you can use thread for hair, you can use it for outlines, you can use it for action lines, because lines lead your eye to the focal point. So I think overall it's going pretty well.
I'm loving what I'm seeing so far. A lot of students are taking the idea that they created in their color scheme worksheet and turning it into their little mini book. Now I'm going to put these through my school's hole puncher machine, which is going to be perfect for this thick illustration board. And then we're going to use the embroidery floss to kind of bind these covers together. Doing a quick drawing on the board to help my students with the tying of the loop. There's a lot of frustration in the classroom. There's a lot of crying when they can't do it. So I'm trying to think of ways that they can enjoy it, but also I can enjoy it, because it's also not my favorite type of project. Even when I was in elementary school, I would roll my eyes anytime we would do anything with fiber or weaving. Now, when I was in high school, I had my favorite art teacher, Mrs. Bellevue, and she made me feel special. She told me I was talented, and it was the first time I actually believed it. And it was right then and there I decided I wanted to be an art teacher too. Here I am, 12, 13 years later, being an art teacher because I wanted to spread that joy that she gave me and that confidence that she passed on to me, and I wanted to give that to others. And it's the best decision I've made, because I am so happy and I'm still in my happy place surrounded by art supplies on the daily.
That portrait with the embroidery floss, absolutely incredible. She had her students pick one or a few images to work with. What a great way to give limits to students, but dream up wild possibilities. Joe, you didn't let that embroidery floss get in your way. You created a sketchbook that can be used all year long.
So I think that round one went pretty well. We used our string and we used magazines and we used white glue stick specifically and colored pencil, and it all really came together. It was really fun to do.
All right, y'all. If this wasn't a Bellringer, I would have done more activities to kind of build up and practiced with big knots and then untied it and tried it again before we did it on a smaller scale. I will say one thing I got right was drawing the steps on the board and numbering them, and that seemed to really help them. Some even said that really helped. But I'm really interested in maybe using this activity for more lessons and units, because I think I could use this as an intro to really any lesson or activity. I face my fear of using a little bit of fiber in this project.
All right, round 2 is our art project.
I'm already starting to sweat a little bit.
Joe and Casey, you have watercolors,
Oh, okay.
brushes, torn paper,
What? Okay, I was not expecting this.
glue bottles,
This gets my brain going.
and your wild card item is rainbow paint swatches.
Almost kind of gives me like Candyland vibes.
So I am familiar with these, not with creating an art project out of them. So I'll have to think of some ideas here.
All right, there's one more thing in here.
You also have another Flex resource available to you.
Of course, we have the Flex curriculum.
For elementary, it is the Color Schemes resource.
Maybe they could create a color wheel. Okay.
And for secondary, it is the Color Field Painting resource.
Let's check out this Flex resource here.
It'll take some thinking, but some brainstorming here, but I think we can come up with something really cool.
Let's go.
Okay, so for round 2, I'm thinking of how I can use this color field painting resource in my lesson plan. And I'm definitely going to show these artists to the students to inspire them on how to use color, because we have those color swatches in the box. How can we perhaps just use movement and gestures, have elements of abstraction maybe behind our sequential art? One of the first ideas I'm thinking, maybe we could do a mini comic book strip, a sequential artwork, since there's different repeated boxes, maybe some sort of storyboarding.
I love utilizing paint swatches in the art room. And anytime you tell a bunch of students about that wall of colors at the hardware store, ooh, the enthusiasm is contagious.
I love this worksheet. Maybe they can work on this like some sort of game or some sort of flashcard. I want to focus on Mark Bradford. He also uses torn paper, and that will inform a painting that we will create. Like the background could be watercolor, and then of course we have to use those torn pieces of paper. The only thing I'm worried about with the project is where do I want the students' focus to go? So it's just something I have to think about, and I'm probably just gonna have to roll with the punches.
Feeling inspired? Subscribe for more fun and inspiring art teacher videos just like this one. And comment down below with what you would do with the mystery box items in this episode.
I was very surprised to see color swatches that look like something you find in a paint store. A little unsure at first, but I think we'll be able to do a cool color block artwork inspired by the Flex resource. I have always loved the idea of teaching art. I actually dressed up for what I want to grow up to be day in 3rd grade as a teacher. So I've known since then that I wanted to be a teacher. What makes me stand out from other art teachers, I think above everything, is always being kind and really patient with my students. Getting them to grow in their skills is my focus as an art teacher.
So right now we're on the watercolor backgrounds. I'm really emphasizing to the students that this is going to be abstract. So I'm telling them to go rather quickly. I'm pushing them a little bit. That way they don't spend too much time on this and then they feel bad when they cover it up with torn paper. That can oftentimes end up happening with projects like this, where you want them to make a background and they end up hyper-focusing on it, and then they end up not wanting to finish the project because they fell in love with what they created. When I talked to them about triadic and we were looking at this resource, one student pointed out, couldn't the triadic colors be the primary colors? And we all went, aha, yes, the triadic colors could be the primary colors. So thanks, Art of Ed. Your resource gave us some aha moments in our classroom.
Maybe you are a huge Flex fan, or you're asking yourself, what is Flex? Well, Flex is a K-12 standards-aligned art curriculum with lesson plans, resources, assessments, videos, and more. Regarding your own personal curriculum, if you're starting from a blank slate or you're looking for materials organized by grade or medium, this is the place to start. Check out the link in the description box for more information about Flex. I totally understood your caution about the backgrounds. But in the end, your students did great, leaning into the open-ended nature of collage with those torn papers. Using the colorful squares to make space for a story to develop, that is a plan we can all take back immediately to our art rooms.
If I could do this again, I wonder if I would give the students a little bit more direction. I'm more of just kind of do what you want, teacher, as long as you understand the concepts. This one was a little bit more open-ended. They got to use their resource and choose a color scheme while studying color theory. We had a lot of aha moments, like for instance, this is the student who had the aha moment that triadic colors could be the primary colors. I love these little aha moments, these inspirations, great conversation, but I really enjoyed it.
We had to pivot a little bit. We went more specific into my other idea of sequential artwork. They were able to tell some different stories in a sequential way and use the torn paper really successfully. Very original, very different creative stories that we came up with.
And we've made it to round 3, our final round. Round 3 is our closure activity.
Okay, I'm really nervous.
Okay, the round 3 box. What is inside here?
Can't wait to see what's inside.
Joe and Casey, you have permanent markers, cardboard,
A must in an elementary art room.
And washable markers.
and your wildcard item is double-sided adhesive dots.
What? I was not expecting this.
See, adhesive glue paints. Oh, you know what? I've used these before.
I used these for scrapbooking before.
Then there's also those flex resources. For elementary, you have the paint palette critique resource.
I like the way these questions are framed.
And for secondary, you have the color and composition critique resource.
Okay, so perhaps we could use this after this round to critique our artwork.
Glue dots, cardboard, markers.
Great, so blue dots. Wow, I was not expecting these, but I think we definitely can create something cool.
Okay, wish me luck.
Let's go.
I'm thinking I'm gonna give a template to my students. They're going to trace that template or draw their own thought bubble on this piece of cardboard. Trace it with a permanent marker or washable marker, cut it out, and they're going to use that sentence stem, that sentence starter, to create a critique for someone else. And then they can use those adhesive dots to attach their quote next to one of their friends' artworks. I'm really curious how my students are gonna react to using cardboard.
Okay, round 3. Okay, we could create some sort of an abstraction of cardboard shapes. Mini cardboard shape and composition artworks. Color them in with the different markers and glue them on top of each other. Make it somewhat 3D with the glue dots. Then use this color and composition critique form to analyze.
Just letting you know, just a little pro tip for any art teachers out there that work with cardboard, you'll need this tool. No matter where you are, elementary, middle school, high school, definitely buy yourself one of those so that you don't hurt your hands. This is gonna save you some time. It was super random cutting out cardboard quotes and putting the sentence starters on them, but I've actually never seen students so motivated to put feedback. I thought they were gonna question me, like, what's the point of this? Why cardboard? They actually really embraced it. They were just excited to do it.
Cardboard. It is my all-time favorite material of all time, forever in the world. It's plentiful, versatile, and it sparks so much creativity. I can't wait to see what you come up with. I love the idea of making cardboard critique speech bubbles, then transferring them over to a non-conventional material like cardboard. That made it so exciting. The beautiful simplicity of your cardboard collage is out of this world. The simple shapes used to make compositions is incredible.
Now, with round 3, the reflection, I have to say this is actually my favorite part, and this was really surprising. I really didn't think that the students were going to embrace the cardboard so much. I've never seen them so excited to do this before, because critique can be hard. I'm definitely thinking I'm going to do this again. Totally outside the box. Never thought to do this with cardboard, and wow.
So overall, round 3 was a big success. It was the students' favorite round overall. Something I'm really proud of is how the students were able to create something 3D. So overall, a really fun process.
All right, here are my thoughts on this entire process. I was really nervous to introduce fiber to my students, but as soon as everybody saw that their book was working and that the pages were turning, they were all super excited to use it and start writing and drawing in it. And it was a great way to introduce the topic of color theory, color combinations. That was my favorite part.
Overall, the students and I really enjoyed all 3 rounds. It was a super fun process. I am most proud of my students' creativity and ability to overcome challenges and work with unexpected materials in a time limit.
Seriously, you think I could pick one art teacher winner? No way! Both Joe and Casey definitely created framed masterpieces. Subscribe so you don't miss the next episode of High Stakes Lesson Planning Fun. Every masterpiece needs a frame, and we can't wait to see who will stand out.